Hello everyone, my name is Cameron, welcome back to the channel. Today is going to be a slightly different video. Now as you guys know, Jess and I are huge wrestling fans, and WWE has kind of been our primary source for wrestling for our entire lives. And there was some news dropped recently that is circumstantial. It's rumor right now. It's not been confirmed that this is in fact true and that this is happening. But as of right now, it is currently just a rumor. But if you guys don't know exactly what happened, so I kind of want to talk about everything that's happened in the last month. So Vince McMahon came back to the company, was renamed unanimously the executive chairman of the board, and was saying he only came back to facilitate a sale, which technically is true. But if he then also starts going back into creative and other things like that, is technically meaning that he is breaking that bond. He's breaking that word, and technically is lying to the SEC, which is not a good thing to do. The SEC is a very, very, very terrifying organization, and I don't expect him to really get out of that good if he's lying about the reason he came back. But the sale last week or so, it was shown who, like, the high points, like who the interested parties are, and one of them, which not only terrified me but I'm sure the people in the company as well as every fan who is a fan of WWE around the world, was that the Saudi Arabia, I don't even remember what it's called completely, but the Saudi government basically was interested in buying it. Basically, the same people that run the shows for WWE in Saudi Arabia, that company was interested in buying WWE outright. Now, a lot of people may think, well, it's a good business move. It's really not. I don't think there's anybody that actually can legitimately say that this is a good business move if they decide to sell them. But recently, rumors came out today that WWE has been sold, and that it was in fact to the Saudi government, to Saudi Arabia. And again, all rumors, nothing's been confirmed. Nobody in WWE has confirmed this yet. I'm sure there's a lot of people in WWE who currently don't know what's going on and don't fully know how the facilitation of the sale has gone, or if it's been sold completely and stuff like that. It's all just rumors. It's basically been leaked by people who have been correct on things in the past, that it was sold, and then another one came out saying that it sold to Saudi Arabia. Again, nothing confirmed. And while Vince is a terrible person, he is also a businessman. I would really hope that he would see that selling to the Saudi government is a bad business move. Selling to Saudi Arabia in general, regardless of the government or this other corporation in Saudi Arabia, selling to them is a bad move. Not just for the fact that a company he spent the last 40, 50 years building is being sold to people that do not care about 90% of the people that work in his company. But also the fact that, I mean, granted, he's not going to care because he's selling it, but if he goes back to head of creative, it means that nobody's going to watch the product. We already got tired of of the product he was putting out before he retired, and that wasn't even including the Saudi stuff. That wasn't even including the Saudi shows or the deal they had with Saudi Arabia. But now the thought of WWE being owned by them, it's a lot to take in, and it's not a good taste in my mouth to say it. But if you guys don't know, Jesse and I have been very outspoken about our hatred of that deal in general, and the shows and everything that's kind of gone on. Obviously, as American citizens, we've been able to see a lot of the stuff that's been kept back from, like that Saudi Arabia probably hasn't been super honest about. Obviously, the beheading of Jamal Khashoggi was kind of a big deal, and that's actually when Jesse and I stopped watching them outright. It was literally that pay-per-view, I think, was the last one I watched, and I have not watched a Saudi show except for Elimination Chamber. Elimination Chamber was the only one we watched, and it's because it had WrestleMania implications, unlike every other Saudi show, which is a glorified house show. But yeah, everything else we haven't watched because we just don't want to. I really wish I didn't watch that Crown Jewel, because God, that DX match was terrible. But it's been something that we've at least been able to kind of avoid. Like, okay, they're not that important of shows. We can not watch them and have no issue. There's no, big implications on these shows except for the one example of Elimination Chamber. We can just kind of sit here and watch regardless, and we can watch the rest of the pay-per-views and the rest of the weekly shows with no issue. However, with this rumor now being thrown out there and the fact that it's very possible that this is true, it means no matter what we do when it's in terms of WWE, whether it's buying 2K games, whether it's buying pay-per-view, well, I mean, we subscribe to Peacock, but you guys get my point. Watching pay-per-views, watching the weekly shows, it's technically contributing to their pockets. And if this rumor is confirmed to be true, which probably won't happen until later this week, it will end all WWE content on this channel. I do not plan on putting any WWE 2K content up. I don't even plan on buying any games after 2K22. I will not be putting up any pay-per-view predictions or anything like that anymore. Because I, in good faith, cannot support a company owned by Saudi Arabia. I have family members who are in the LGBTQ community. I have my girlfriend is pansexual. I just cannot condone supporting a corporation or a country that does not see certain people as humans. This also comes with the news that Stephanie McMahon resigned, which a lot of people thought was because her father came back. A lot of people thought it was because he was named as executive chairman of the board. But now it's looking like if if they really did Saudi Arabia, that the reason she resigned is because they don't want a woman CEO, which is very possible. Again, another reason I refuse to support a company owned by Saudi Arabia is the fact that they see women as second-class citizens. And while Vince is a terrible, terrible human being, he's a rapist and probably many other terrible things, he should at least think about the fact that these people in his company are human beings too. And I don't want to think about where WWE is going to go if this is true. Obviously, the Sami Zayn storyline has been basically my favorite storyline going this entire, last year. And all I can really think about with this situation is he's probably not going to be in the company anymore. He's probably going to get fired. Or he'll quit. One of the two. But he's not going to stay in WWE. He's... Syrian. He's Syrian, which means he won't stay with this company. He refuses to go to the shows already because of the injustices they've done in Syria and other places like that, and to other people to other Israelites. Is that right? That's Syrian. I might be wrong, but with what else they've done. But let's be honest, it's Saudi Arabia. I could name probably 10 different things that they've gone against and they've destroyed. Kevin Owens has been very outspoken about not wanting to go there. John Cena has been very outspoken about not wanting to go there. Roman Reigns is one of the only people at the top of the company that I can think of that actually goes there. But I don't think that's really his, a decision he wants to do. He just kind of does it because he's the top person in the company. Seth Rollins is kind of the same way. I don't think Bray Wyatt's going to want to go there anymore. I don't think their women's division's going to last or anything like that. I think there's a lot of wrestlers that are going to just walk out of the company because of this fact. And honestly, more power to them. The biggest thing I can think of in this situation is that if this is truly happening, if they truly have sold to Saudi Arabia, that Vince, before the sale's finalized, because obviously if a sale happens, it's not just going to immediately go into effect. It's going to take time. Vince sees that it's going to destroy the company that he built. Now, granted, he may not have anything to do with it anymore. He may just sell it and leave, which, if that's the case, then he's a real fucking piece of shit. But I would hope that he'd see this company that he spent majority of his life building tanking completely because of this deal and decide to back out of it and change his mind on it and sell to somebody that's actually going to treat the company right, that's actually going to get the company profit. Now, granted, like Disney was one of those options for the sale, and I wouldn't really know what the product would look like with Disney. I wouldn't know if I'd like the product with Disney. However, I liked that a lot more than Saudi being in complete control of WWE. But the big thing is I will not be supporting WWE as a company anymore. And I know there's a lot of people who have already said that they refuse to support them again if this ends up being true. Royal Rumble will be the last pay-per-view I watch. I won't cancel Peacock because I use it for other things besides WWE. But I will not be contributing money to WWE's pockets anymore. They don't... If they really want to go into business, completely into business... Now, granted, obviously the Saudi deal was already kind of shit. But at least in that situation, it was, okay, we have a time frame for when this can end. And when we won't have to deal with this anymore. But if Saudi Arabia buys the entire company, then that's it. There's no getting away from that. Every dollar you give to WWE is going to them. And I don't feel comfortable supporting a company that will not support women's rights, trans rights, or LGBTQ rights at all, for that matter. They are not a company that I would hope they would avoid doing this to get a good deal out of somebody else. I mean, granted, it's not like the other companies wouldn't be putting up a huge amount of number. I mean, fuck, Disney could have been fucking putting up more than them if they really wanted to. But if this does end up being true, then there will be no more WWE content on this channel. And I hope that any and all wrestlers in the company who are scared of their future now because of this leave and go somewhere where not only will they be treated properly, will their storylines be better, but also the fact that they won't have to worry about their company selling out to a terrible, terrible country with terrible human rights violations all over. This is a sad, sad day for wrestling fans. And I really, really hope it's not true. If they really have sold, I hope it's not to them.